To my channel. This is my very first video, and I've had a lot of requests to show people how to make this glittered wine glass, which also has etching on the top. So I thought that I would just do a quick little video to show all the steps from what I do on this video. There's that one that I made. This is the very first one that I made. I made all of these glitters come from Painted Valley Designs, which is a buy-in group. You can find on Facebook. This one says Girls Night. And this one, this is actually the color that we're going to be using today, which is pink. And it's a very pretty color. So the first thing that you need is to assemble your supplies. What you'll need is a decal. I usually make them about 2.5 inches wide by about 1.5 inches to 2 inches tall. It really just depends how it's going to fit into the design. I use dishwasher safe Mod Podge. You will also need your glitter. This is pink, Painted Valley Designs. You can use a tape measure. I've started just eyeballing it. Dry erase marker, electrical tape or painter's tape if you use painter's tape, scissors. I use this nice control knife from Cricut that they just released. I love Cricut. I love the Cricut brand, so I've used this and it works really well. This is the etching cream that I use. It's Armor Etch. You can get it at Joann's or Michael's, Hobby Lobby, any place like that. Use your coupon. Make sure that you shop around, because I found that at my Joann's, it's $19.99 for this bottle of this size, but this same bottle was like over $30 at Michael's. So I used my 50% off coupon on this bottle, so make sure that you don't overpay for that. Definitely use your coupon. And then at the end, I haven't sealed any with epoxy. What I've been using is this crystal clear triple thick glaze, clear glaze, because I am afraid to put it on my turner because I don't want to break the glass. So let's get started. Okay, now that we're ready to get started, the first thing that I do is I take this glass, the glass that I purchased, oh, I forgot to mention that earlier. Also, you'll need a wine glass, obviously. I purchased this in a 4-pack from Walmart. You can use Dollar Tree glasses, but what I found with the Dollar Tree glasses is that it has like this dent. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but it's got like a dent there, whereas the ones that I have from Walmart, they do not have that dent. It's very smooth. So I decided that I would just go back to Walmart. It was like $4.96, I think, for a 4-pack of these glasses. They're 15 ounce. So let's get started. The first thing that I do is I clean the glass. Got my paper towels. I clean the glass with rubbing alcohol just because that's what I've always been taught to do. Whenever you start anything, just clean it with rubbing alcohol. So I just take it, put it in like this. I rub it down. Wipe it off a little bit. I use 91% rubbing alcohol because that's what I have. Okay. Now that'll sit there for a little bit. The next thing that I do is I take a dry erase marker and I go in a circle around the top of the glass. So the best way that I have to do this is, sorry, I didn't pick my itch nervous. So I hold it down on the table like this, and then I twirl the glass. It's a trick that I learned in so many videos that I watched. That actually still looks a little bit yucky, probably from my fingerprints. I'll wipe that off again. Okay. It's dry now. Okay, so I'm just taking my dry erase marker and I'm making a line so that it's a nice even line around the top, because I wanted there to be exposed glass which is not etched. Okay, all the way around like that. There's your line. It's a nice line. It's a solid line. Then I take my electrical tape, which always has all kinds of glitter all over it because I use glitter all the time. I love glitter. You can check out my Shopify page. I just opened that up. It's called Shimmer Wren, like the bird. So it's Shimmer-Wren. And that's my page on Shopify. And then I also started a Facebook page. I've seen these glasses. I decided to do these actually because my best friend told me that she saw a video on somebody who had etched glass. I'm just putting the electrical tape around it now. Who had etched glass, and she knows that I like glitter, but I never did wine glasses before because I don't drink wine. So I never really had an interest in them. But she saw that, and I was like, ooh, yeah, glitter and etching. So I've seen glitter on the wine glasses, and I've also seen etching, but I've never seen them together. So I decided to try it, and I'm glad that I did because it's really popular. Okay, so now I've got it all the way around the rim of the glass, and I wiped off the dry erase marker. I just put that down a little bit. Now there's a couple of different ways that you can do this part. I did measure it off first, so I left about 1.5 inch or 2 inch gap in the back. And then I started with a dry erase line there. I used my tape and I measured up. And then I went around the glass. But now I'm kind of over that, and I just eyeball it, stick it in the middle, and then I let the tape wrap around it. That way I can kind of see if it's centered. So I have my decal here, and I'm just going to place it where I think it's going to look nice. And it's always off because I'm always off, so nothing's perfect with what I do, so why break precedent? Okay, so then I just apply the decal. I rub it on there really well. The thing with your decals when you're doing the etched glass, you have to make sure that the decal is attached on there really well, because you don't want for the etching cream to go underneath your decal and then your whole thing is ruined. This is the first time that I've really worked with Armor Etch. I've never really etched anything before. I tried to do a glass block, but it was a flop. So I just sort of put my etching cream away until my best friend Holly, she mentioned this to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, that would be perfect for like weddings and girls' nights and that kind of thing. So I have that on there. Oh no, my S came off. No big whoop. Little booger. It's gonna be crooked like everything else. Go down. Stay, you know you want to stay. There's always got to be one little problem. Okay, now we have her on there, and that's my name, Sarah, so that's why I decided to do this one. I'm doing it in the pink because I like the pink, and this S is for Sarah, and I've already made that one, and so I thought it would be nice to have a matching set. I guess I'm going to drink Diet Mountain Dew out of them because I don't drink wine. But they're so pretty. And another thing, you could leave them like this. You don't even have to do this next part. I mean it would still be pretty like that. But I used outdoor vinyl for the decal because I feel like it does adhere to the glass a little bit better to prevent any bleeding from going on underneath the decal. And then I rub over it a little bit more. Okay. Now I take my tape, which I probably dropped somewhere. No big. I've got more tape. I've got all kinds of tape. Anytime I see it on sale, I grab it. Okay. So So next, this part, it takes a little bit of maneuvering to get it. I don't know the best way to really do this. I just take it off like this because I don't like that big heavy thing. And then I start in the middle, eyeballing again. And I leave a little bit of a gap between the decal and the tape line. So I've started there in the middle underneath the bottom portion of the decal. And then I just sort of go around and sort of make it straight in the back. Not sort of, that's what I do, but it is kind of sort of because I didn't measure anything. Now, if I did have an order for these or something that needed to have matching sets, I would definitely measure everything. But this is for me, it's for my own personal use. But it'll probably just sit on a shelf, actually. Or maybe I can take it to a craft show and sell it to somebody else named Sarah. At my last craft show that I was at, the lady across from me, her name was Sarah. Okay. Then I make it meet in a V down there. This portion is the only portion that you really need to worry about because we're going to pull this tape off after we're done anyways. And actually, I like the way that that looks around the edge. So I'll just put this around a little bit more. There. Okay. Now the next step, we'll have to move to the kitchen and we'll apply the etching cream. So for the etching cream, you're going to need this and a paintbrush and gloves. Next thing that I do is I set up in my sink, which I don't know if you're supposed to do this or not. There's no instructions on the bottle, and they've got like 800 pages of a PDF file on their website, and I'm like, I'm not reading that. So you should read that and use it as directed. And then all you're going to do, this is going to be a little bit difficult. All you're going to do is take a good amount of your etching cream, and you're going to cover this decal. And you want to make sure that you cover it so that there's no decal or very little of the decal showing through. And then you go all the way around like that from between tape to tape. You don't have to worry about if there's any kind of etching cream that gets on the bottom of it because you're going to cover that with glitter anyway. If you weren't going to cover it with glitter, then you would need to worry about that. But I'm not worried about that. The less I can worry about, the better. So that's covered now. Then you go all the way around it, and then I set a timer for like 10 minutes. I don't think you're supposed to leave it on there for that long, but nobody ever told me otherwise. So, and don't tell me otherwise. Because I tried it after 5 minutes, I didn't like the way that it looked, so I tried it again for another 5, and then I just started leaving it on for 10 minutes. Alright guys, so I'm going to finish covering up the cup, set my timer, and then I will be right back with you. Okay, and I have my lovely husband assistant here with me today. What I do next is I take off the etching cream and I put it back into the jar because this stuff is expensive. And my friend Holly, she told me, she's like, well, you know you can save that stuff, right? And I'm like, no, I didn't know I could save that stuff. So I started removing it as much as I can and putting it back into the bottle because, like I mentioned earlier, it is so expensive. So I get as much of it off as I can. And then again, you don't need to worry that much if you're getting the etching cream down below this point. Okay. So now I turn on the sink and I put on some warm water. And I start rubbing around to get the etching cream off. Okay, and then I start removing the decals, and it comes off pretty easily. You don't really need to worry about how it comes off at this point, as long as it comes off, and it's not going to continue to etch. And then I remove my tape and my decals, and then I will see you in a few more minutes after I get this dried off. Okay, now here is our glass. I have it all dried off. And the next thing that we're going to do is tape again, and I just follow all along this line all the way around. And then after that we'll apply our Mod Podge and glitter. Okay, now I have my tape all ready to go. I did find that tape earlier, it rolled across the floor. So then I'm just going to follow along the etching line that I have here all the way around the cup. I don't want any of the clear glass to show because I don't like the way that that looks. So I do have like a little slight part of the etched part of the glass which is exposed. Okay. Then I take it down and I meet it in a V. Chop that off. This is what I use my Cricut control knife for. I just line this up and I see where the bottom part of the tape pokes through, and then I just cut that off, try to make it a nice clean line. Always use safety when using any type of a cutting device. If I'm doing this wrong, don't follow my example. Okay. That part just comes right off, and then smooth it out. Now we're ready for the fun part, which is Mod Podge. I love my Mod Podge. Okay. And I'm going to use a paintbrush to get this. Okay, got my trusty paintbrush. I take a little bit of my hard coat Mod Podge, if I can get it open. Should have done that beforehand. And I pour just a little bit in there. Okay. I stick my hand inside like this so that I can move it all the way around. Okay, then I just start applying it on there. You want to make sure that it's nice and smooth on there with as few brush strokes. If you can get it without the brush strokes showing through, then you might, depending on the quality of glitter, you might only have to do one coat. I always do two just for good measure and because my paintbrush strokes seem to pop through. So just to make sure that I have everything covered, I do two coats. So I continue all the way around. This would be for the first coat. And if you use hard coat Mod Podge, it does dry very quickly. So you don't have much time to work with. You gotta get it all done. Just up to the paint line. Nice strokes. Just really worried about getting it covered at this point. Making sure that it's all on there. And then you can go back with the time that you have to work with and try to smooth it out. Smooth it out. You can have your own technique for doing this. You know, there's no really right or wrong way. Just see what works for you. This is what I found works for me. But if somebody might approve on however I do it. I'm not perfect. Nobody is. So just make sure that's done nice and even. And I lay it down and I get the bottom part, the base. Okay, and at this point I'm usually like, it is what it is. So Now we're ready for the really fun part, which is glitter. I love glitter. Okay, should have already had my lid off too. This is my first video, guys. Okay, so then I take this, and you see how it is? And then I just start dumping. I just start dumping all over it. Nice, healthy dump. I'm gonna edit that out later. Maybe I won't. Okay, and we're just putting all kinds of glitter on there. I love this glitter, by the way. Look at that. Oh my God, it's so gorgeous. It is so gorgeous. Oh my goodness. Okay. And I give just a little tap. Some more will come off. And then now is the part where you decide, should I or should I not do a second layer? And I think I will do a second layer just because why make any changes? That's what I've done in the past, so that's what I'm going to do with this one too. So I'm going to let this dry for about 30 minutes to 60 minutes or whenever I come back to it. And then also my glitter is down here, but I do have it on freezer paper, so don't freak out. So what I do is then I put it back into the bottle. So I'll be back in just a few minutes. And I'm going to go ahead and apply the second coat of glitter. This is my Mark Wahlberg. I got his autograph. It was crazy. He came to Meijer, which is a local store here in the Midwest, and he was giving out autographs. So it's like, well, heck yeah, who's not going to go meet Mark Wahlberg, right? So anyway, so I have my cup full of the Mod Podge. I dusted off a little bit of this glitter, loose glitter that's still left on the cup. Then I go through and I'm doing my second layer of Mod Podge. Just right over. Right over. And so I'll cover the entire cup again, making sure that it's smooth. I always find that the second layer of Mod Podge is a lot easier to get on there more evenly. I don't know, that's my experience. Others might have more experience. I haven't been actually working with it for that long. Like I said earlier, this is my first video, and I started maybe in November. And it's crazy what a Cricut will do, because now I'm doing this because I have a Cricut. My husband bought a Cricut for me, and I feel so sorry because I see I'm a part of a lot of groups, and I see some people who are like, I have my Cricut for 6 months and it's still in the box, and I'm like, what? I opened that thing from day one, and now I've got like thousands of dollars worth of, you know, supplies and stuff that I'm doing, and I'm like, oh my goodness, there's so much stuff to do, and there's so many people who are willing to teach you how to do things. I don't understand why they still have it in the box. So anyway, because I got a Cricut, now I'm doing glitter wine glass. And they are beautiful. And I'm doing this video because I posted some pictures of what I did, and there was just such an outpouring of just interest in how to do it. And it's not that complicated. It's a little bit time consuming, but it's not that bad. But it's fun too, and they look so pretty. I know I just keep saying that, but they do. They look so pretty. Okay, so we do a nice layer of Mod Podge. You could use dishwasher safe Mod Podge. You could even use regular Mod Podge, but I prefer to work with the hard coat Mod Podge. I think it doesn't have quite the strong scent that the yellow and red bottles of Mod Podge have, or the dishwasher safe Mod Podge has. So I really like working with this one, because also I feel like my glitter lays nice and flat with them, with the dishwasher safe. I'm sorry, with the hard coat, as opposed to the dishwasher safe. So that's what I use. You could also do it with Loctite. I actually wanted to do it with Loctite, but I haven't been able to find any lately. And I've looked in the craft department. I don't know, somebody around here must be doing Loctite tumblers, because I can't find any. I've checked Walmart. I can't find the green label anywhere. That's the one that I like to use. Okay, so now we have this on there nice and even. And we're going to do our second. I'm going to move that around a little bit, because I did drip some Mod Podge on there. Use my paper. Now we're ready to go back at it. Pouring it on. That's probably a better word for me to use than what I used earlier. I apologize. I did leave that in because I did think it was funny. It's real. That's the way I talk, so not all the time, but it's real. Okay. Just going back over it again. All the way around. Make sure you get the bottom part. Tap it off. And now it is time to remove the tape. Do this very carefully. And you want to pull the glitter down, away from your glitter. Pull the tape off, away from your glitter. And voila. It's a little bit messy right now because I have glitter on my hands. There is our glass. It's a beaut. It's a real beauty. Okay, so the next step that we're going to do is I'm going to tape it again around this line, all the way around, and then I'm going to take it outside and I'm going to spray it. I'm not going to show you guys that part because I don't want to take the camera downstairs and do all of that. So what I have done is I've taped off this one, which was one that I previously did, and I went ahead and I sprayed it using the triple thick glaze. And I did, so far I've done 3 layers of the glaze on this one. So that's it. Those are my wine glasses. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Hope that you come back, and I hope that you visit it lots of times. It's really easy. It's simple to do. People were asking me how to do it, and I'm like, really? It's just etched at the top, glitter at the bottom. There's a lot of steps that's to it, but it's really pretty, and I think that it would be great for occasions like weddings, obviously. This is my husband's favorite one. I do use ultrafine glitter. I don't think that this one is ultrafine. I think it's just a little bit more than ultrafine. This is Fine Anna by Painted Valley. Like I said, all my glitters that I used were from Painted Valley, and they're beautiful. Just absolutely gorgeous. So I might epoxy some. I've decided that when I sell them, I'm going to charge more for the epoxy, just because it's epoxy, it's smooth, and I think it's going to be a big hassle to do it, and I hate epoxy. So I hope that you've enjoyed my video, guys, and have a wonderful day, and happy glittering!